Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast. I am your esteemed host, Nick Z, joined by my friend Jason Beckner. Jason, how are you today, buddy?
What is up, Nick? New year, new me. I should say new us.
Yeah?
We're back.
I'm excited. I'm sure the listeners, watchers, well, the listeners can't see this. The watchers can't. Completely new look for the On Deck Circle podcast. I'm personally excited about it. I did the majority of this because I am a creative mind, I suppose. And I'm going to tease a little something. What I'm most excited about is something you guys have never seen before, and it will be happening after I ask my cold open question of the week. Jason, we are currently in a mock draft for a mock first-year player draft for the Fantasy Six-Pack. Yes?
Correct.
Well, it just so happens I am now on the clock. So I'm going to give you two names that I have queued up. What pick am I? I am pick 8.
Ooh, okay.
So my two questions are this. Number one, do I go with Brock Wilken from Milwaukee, the third baseman? And I hate that I'm even going to ask this question, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Hurston Waldrip, a starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Ready, set, go. We are back. Jason,
What an intro. What an intro.
Phenomenal.
Love it.
We did send that to our former friend, Dave Eddy, and he asked us to include the popsicle gif and the perfect draft photo, and we happily obliged. And I actually think he might be joining us at some point in the next few weeks, so I'm excited. I think a lot of the faces that you saw on that intro will be joining us throughout this baseball season. But, Jason, who should I pick?
First off, we got to correct some things. Not former friend, former co-host, Dave Eddy. Still friend,
No.
Dave Eddy. But that's really interesting. You know what's funny is right now we're also rolling out our top 10 prospect list, positional breakdown at the website. Currently writing up the top 10 pitching prospects. I am very high on Hurston Waldrip, but I also preface my article with the caveat of beware of pitching prospects. We all know this, right? Tin snap, right? I think something like that. Tin snap, no such thing. So for that reason alone, as high as I am on Waldrip and the Atlanta Braves pitching development, I got to go Wilkins. Or we talked about this guy. You actually brought him up in about another league, but Nolan Chanal, is he not there?
He's there. But where I'm
he doesn't have a lot of. I get that. He doesn't have a lot of upside.
Yeah, he's just there in a. It's so hard because it is a mock. So like it really does. Like right. I feel like Nolan is more valuable in a league that I'm going to use him in, and I understand that this is supposed to be like that, but no. So we're gonna go ahead, Jason.
I think of Brock Wilken.
We're gonna go Brock. Party like a Brock star.
Yeah. I
All right.
hate that one bit.
He has been selected. And Jason, you are on deck.
Oh, shit. We might be making two picks live on air.
We might be making 2 picks live on air. I'll keep you posted if you.
Yeah. I don't have it up right now, so I'll have to pull it up if you have it on your phone or something.
Yeah.
Real quick. I know we got a lot to cover this. This episode. However, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my boy, the man in Big Red, Santa, a.k.a. my mother-in-law, for one hell of a gift this year.
Oh, what do we got, Jason?
I need to unveil it right now. Are you ready? This could be kind of a shocking thing. I don't know how the camera's going to handle this, but let's check it out right here.
This is a family show. Oh, that's sick.
Little Cubs neon.
Wow. Go Cubs
down the chimney. from the man in Big Red, or should I say,
Woman.
my mother-in-law. Woman.
That's fantastic. That's
You
a
like
great
that, huh?
addition.
That's a great addition. I might have to like figure out a way to like incorporate that into my background.
Yeah, no, I think I feel like we can make that work. I don't know how, but
I don't know. I may have to move it around a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to move it too much, but I would be remiss if I didn't show that off, because that's been like the highlight of my holiday season.
Literal highlight.
Yeah, there you go. It's
the
literal highlight. All right. Well, when we left off last time, I don't know if you remember. I didn't go back and watch, but we did our prediction show on where these free agents would go.
Yep.
We've had some time now. We've had some winter meetings. We've had, if you want to call it hot stove, we'll call it the
mid stove.
Yeah, we'll call it a lukewarm stove.
Yeah.
But let's get into some of the stuff. But before we do, a few things to get taken care of. If you want to get a lot of access to more content that it's going to be available for us, rankings, our Discord. The Discord's great. You get a lot of personal questions asked there. You get answered. You got to become a member. You can do so at fansixpack.net/plans and become a member today. So also, if you're like me and yourself, you play in Dynasty leagues, and if you're sick of that same old 3-letter network league or that 4-letter network league and looking for more customization, you need to get over to Fantrax. Sign up and you can move your league over there, and it's got fully customization. The options are endless there. I mean, we're running our mock draft on that right now just because of the amount of capabilities that Fantrax has. And trust me, you will not be disappointed when you move your league over to Fantrax. So you should do that today. But if you saw the thumbnail and you were paying attention to anything this offseason, we had almost the LeBron James-esque free agent move here, and that's Shohei Ohtani. He should have almost done some sort of decision, right? He should have gone on. He should have or maybe done like a college.
Yeah, he just had a bunch of hats in front of him.
Grab some hats or something crazy.
I mean, we were tracking his flights at some point.
This is true.
That seemed like it was so long ago, but it hasn't even been a month.
Don't forget Flightgate 2023. What about the also along those same rumors was
the dog
that, and then there was also the sushi party.
The sushi party, yeah,
for 50 in Toronto, which was supposedly in line with Flightgate of Ohtani going to Toronto to sign. However, that did not happen, and he went to where everybody thought he knew he was going to go all along, to the LA Dodgers. Surprise, surprise. But the biggest surprise to me and the biggest winner to me of this offseason is obviously the Dodgers for many reasons, but mostly for they've just opened up a whole new realm of free agent signing with this whole defer money. I mean, we're getting into a situation now where I think this is going to be the future of teams signing these big contracts. And you almost have to. Either that or I put it on the commish, which we know he won't do, but somebody needs to come along here and put in some sort of hard salary cap. We're getting to this is getting crazy. Not only is the contract lengths and salary-wise getting absurd, but now we're getting to this weird, we're going to defer a bunch of money. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I think there needs something done with the salary cap. Not only with the salary cap, I don't want to get off of too much of a tangent, but also with this whole free agency of baseball. It's gotten really weird the last, I'll say 3 to 5 years, with just nobody signing, everyone just taking their sweet time, right? You look at football, you look at basketball, you look at all these other sports. I mean, football's gotten so crazy, they have to have an illegal tampering period where you can go talk to guys 2 days before. Meanwhile, we have guys on the street still. Not to bury the lead with some stories future here in the episode, but we have the reigning NL Cy Young without award winner, not on a team right now. I don't know what's happening with MLB free agency. It's gotten very weird. Something needs to be changed. We need to have some sort of incentive to get these guys signed early, bring some
excitement.
Yeah, excitement to the offseason. I mean, we're now into about maybe 30 days till pitchers catchers report, and
You've got huge
We've
names.
had and we've only had like 4 big moves, not including international signings like Yamamoto but
Sean.
yeah, other than that, I mean, we are just waiting for some sort of news. Got our first comment here on the new year. Jamie says he had stopped watching baseball when Kenny Lofton retired. Hey, shout out One Dog, man. He was a great Cub. I'll remember that for a long time. He's also a lot of great teams, but shout out One Dog.
Wow.
You familiar with One Dog?
Jamie. No.
Oh.
The only I don't think I was really not really alive for. I guess I was alive.
You were alive. It was late. Well, I don't know. It was late 90s.
Yeah, I was 93.
Yeah,
I think true. Like the only thing I know him for, or a couple things, he was in Backyard Baseball.
Okay.
And Action Bronson has a bar, and I think it's drinking Henny like I'm Kenny Lofton, and that's like the only thing I really know. He was fast, right?
Oh yeah. And Jamie comes out here and says he's an Indians fan, which we all know. Well, you don't know, but we know. Longtime Indian player Kenny Lofton, among many other teams, but longtime Cleveland Indians. But anyways, off on my tangent about how boring the Hasoba has gotten over the years. Winter meetings used to be huge excitement, trades galore, signings galore. None of that happens anymore. I don't know what these front offices are doing. They all want to just kind of like make money without signing players and doing. I don't know. Hopefully, this can come up with some sort of solution because it's gotten ridiculous lately. But back to the Ohtani deal, which is absurd. He's getting $2 million a year to pitch. Not pitch, to play. He won't be pitching for any time soon, but hitting, DHing for the Dodgers. And if you looked at this lineup for the Dodgers, it's absurd.
It's like a video game line. Like you turned salary cap and trades, like forced trades, and you have just like an all-star team.
Yep. Real quick, let me run through this lineup 1 through 9. The 1 through 7 is actually the 1 through 8 is absurd. And then 8 and 9 is nothing to scoff at either. Mookie Betts leading off, followed off by Ohtani DHing, Freddie Freeman at first, Will Smith catching, Max Muncy at third, James Outman, who's had a career year in 2023, newly acquired Teoscar Hernandez, and then right now roster resource has Jason Hayward in right field. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Manny Margot takes that position for the most part. The only problem is they'll probably platoon Hayward and Margot, with Hayward getting the strong side of the platoon, but still. Gavin Lux in a 9-hole. I mean, this is just absurd. The fact that they were able to even do these things but again, we've seen these super teams before. The Yankees have always been known as a super team. And how many World Series have they had in the last 15 years, 20 years? They haven't had a World Series since 97 or 98, right? I mean, it's not, let's not put the horse in front of the carriage just yet. There's a lot of times we've seen these super teams and then they come together and they don't mesh well or something for whatever reason. I mean, look at last year's World Series, right? 2 small markets, small clubs in Texas Rangers and Arizona Diamondbacks. Neither of them were superstar teams, all-star monster teams, and they both made it to the World Series. So it's not always about these huge names and huge upside players that always make it there. However, it does help. I'm not going to lie to that. We got a question here from Jamie, who's the 1-1 in all of baseball fantasy drafts, redraft or dynasty. So I think it's both. Both right now are 1-1. It's got to be Acuna Jr. Both
okay,
redraft. Redraft you could kind of maybe, falter a little bit, but for the most part, right now in a weird time, they're pretty much the same. Redraft and dynasty 1-1. It's going to be Ronald Acuna Jr. 40-40 upside every year. Take that all day. Even in dynasty purposes, you're talking about a guy that's like 26. So yeah, that's who I have as my 1-1. But any other thoughts on Ohtani to the Dodgers? We knew where he was going.
It was like this shouldn't even count as like an offseason move. It was he was never going to Toronto. I'm sorry, Waterloo, Mike, big Dodger guy, great guy. Actually, going to hang out with him in a couple weeks. He's coming to a Celtics versus Grizzlies game. Don't understand his fandoms at all, how that correlates. But going to see him. Probably going to give him like a hug or something because the Blue Jays
a shoulder to cry on.
Really just like talk themselves into this actually happening. And I don't know if this is like equivalent to like me being like I don't, well, as a Red Sox fan, especially this offseason, I'm like, well, they're not gonna fucking do anything. So like there hasn't been like one player that I've been like, oh, the Sox will sign him. So it's hard for me to look at it in that like in a fan way, just because I know that Red Sox ownership is a dumpster fire. But no, this shouldn't count as a big move. Everyone knew what was going to happen. It doesn't even need to move, right? Like I don't know where he lived for like the last few years when he played for the Angels, but like it's the same area code. Like you're just like you're dating like your ex-girlfriend's sister and you're going to marry her. Like you know exactly where you're going at all times. You see the same family at the Christmas parties and they're like, this is a little weird. But then they're like, it's fine. He pitches and he hits.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to skip over this one, but let's just keep going with the Dodgers. They also made a couple more moves here, signing the number 1 international free agent, Yoshida Yamamoto. Not only that, they also traded for Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays, which
deferred more money.
Yes, and deferred more money for Yamamoto, which is another insane move that we talked about. Again, just bolstering, which I would say the rotation was their weakness. Adding Ohtani was just adding to a strength, right? Their lineup was a strength. Pitching was their failure last year. So they obviously boosted that by getting Yamamoto coming over as a top international free agent. Tyler Glasnow, awesome, effective pitcher when and if healthy. This is a guy that has not topped 100 innings pitched in his career. However, when healthy, highly effective. Also, I think with this move to LA, we've seen it before with LA, skipping turns. I bet you they're satisfied with getting 100 innings from Glasnow with that rotation they have. You're talking about Walker Buehler's coming back, right? Coming back from injury. Now you got Yamamoto as your starter. Don't forget about the young guys of Bobby Miller and Emmett Shaheen that came up last year and had really good production as rookies last year. So now you're talking about at least 5 guys right there. And then you have swing guys like Ryan Yarbrough, JP Firereason. So like they're definitely going to manipulate. They've done it before. They've done it in the past where they manipulate, go to like a 6-man, 7-man rotation by skipping starts and coming up with these, fake or,
phantom
injuries. I don't want to call them fake, but blister injuries and things of that nature. So I think they're content with having Glasnow get 100. If they'd be happy with Glasnow getting 100 innings, I think.
Yeah, as long as there are 100 healthy ones and they can use them in the postseason. But what I don't think I didn't see this on the show rundown, but I would like to talk about a guy that the Dodgers traded for Glasnow. I love Ryan. I don't know how to say his last name. Pipoit?
Yarbrough? Oh no. Yeah. Oh yeah. The prospect.
Yeah.
I think Pipiot.
Pipiot or something along those lines.
Yep.
This is something again, and it's that ears perk up when the Rays trade for someone. It's a controllable arm, which I know they're cheap, but it's also a good arm. And everything, he's someone that I've been following the last couple of years. I feel like he was in like the last 5 years, the Dodgers just draft hurt college pitchers like later in the draft. And then people are like, oh, they're going to they rehab them. And then they start to bounce and they really start to flash and be really good contributors. I think Bobby Miller is an example of that. Mm-hmm. So he's someone, especially with the Rays trading for him, I'm looking to add in any format, any way I can.
Yeah, no, good call. Definitely something to take note of is when the Rays either trade for or trade away players, because that's something to take note of. They
usually trade them away.
They have dealt with the headache of Tyler Glasnow for the last 4 years or so, 5 years. So they are tired of him making his 5 starts a year. So they decided to move on from him. He also got a big contract extension when he went to LA.
Yep.
I don't know those numbers offhand, but LA not only traded for him, but Gave him an extension.
Locked him up.
Also, not to be remiss, I don't want to get too deep into it because it just happened. It's not a huge move, but just compiling on more Dodger additions. Teoscar Hernandez signing. Not a huge name as far as like if you're talking about like if you're in like a OBP league or like a batting, for batting average and OBPs, but counting stats in that lineup, RBIs are going to be there, runs are going to be there, home runs obviously are going to be there. It's been like one of his biggest, statisticals advantages that he gives you is home runs. So that's another guy that they've added. Honestly, what the Dodgers have been doing is what all teams should be thriving to do. So I'm not even going to hate on what the Dodgers are doing because that's what all teams should be doing or trying to do.
It's something that, so I guess Teoscar kind of counts as someone that I expected the Red Sox to sign. Just as it seemed like just like an ideal fit. The profile fits what the Red Sox needed. So this was someone that I was kind of bummed that the Red Sox did not sign. And then to see him going to the Dodgers was kind of like, I was like, it seems, I don't want to use the word super team because they're paying people. It's not like they're signing people on like a veteran minimum just so they can win their championship. They're not like ring chasing because they can pay them whatever the hell they want. But this one was just kind of, I was like, they have to get him too. Like, I just needed something that was less predictable.
Yeah. And Dylan comes here and says, Cubs just signed Belly already. I agree. I don't know. We talked about it earlier at the beginning of the top of the show. Don't know what's going on with these teams and the lack of any sort of activity in this offseason right now. It's been kind of weird.
Yeah, Swanson told them to sign Belly
during
their
the Cubs
weekend or whatever it was. You got to love that.
I know. I mean, I'm sure they're going to bring him back. I don't know what they're waiting for. They're trying to get him on a discount. Just pay the man already.
Yeah, just give him
not only the Dodgers, the only other big story pretty much out of the offseason so far, aside from the Dodgers just becoming a super team, which they kind of already were, that's the Juan Soto trade. It seems like it was forever ago because it kind of was. It's almost put into the back burner now because nothing's been happening. And you would think this would be big news, and it really is big news because you're an arch nemesis, the New York Yankees, bolster their lineup.
Yep.
I know we did a little bit of mock trade. I don't remember what. Again, I have to go back and look. I don't know what they were. But here's the full trade. The San Diego Padres trade Juan Soto and Trent Grisham to the New York Yankees for Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, Kyle Higashioka,
the catcher.
The catcher, Michael King, and Randy Vasquez. Again, not a ton of, they did get Drew Thorpe and Michael King, huge additions. However, you're only getting 1 year of control for Soto because they have not signed him to a no extension yet. But I feel like that's inevitable, right?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
Unless he wants to go to the Dodgers to get paid in 2050.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't put up, but the Yankees lineup now, I'm assuming he'll slide into that 2-hole where he kind of found his groove there for his career.
It's so good.
400 OBP you can count on every year, count on at least 25 to 35 home runs, short right field porch in I don't know what, Yankee Stadium, I guess you can call it, right? That's what it is. So right now they have Juan Soto batting third on roster resource with Judge batting second. But aside from those first three, a lot of question marks on that team. So they obviously had to make a splash and bring some sort of a bat in. I think, honestly, it's probably the only team that would have been willing to part with a lot of their top guys, is just based off of the way this offseason is going. Doesn't seem like anyone really wants to make any moves or make any trades. So Yankees making a splash early in the offseason by trading for Soto. In my eyes, both a win for the Yankees and any Juan Soto owners in Dynasty. If anything, it's just going to bolster his RBI totals, which he already is going to get you 200 plus RBIs and runs. Going to continue that trend again. 400 OBP. You actually might even see his home run total jump.
Yeah, I think you might see that.
Friendly park.
Yeah, he's so good and so young.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably there's a chance Judge and Soto both put up 40 home runs in back
Yeah.
to back in that order in that lineup this year.
Imagine just 80 homers out of like two guys. Like that's
Yeah.
wild. I'm sure it's happened, obviously, but like that would be something just like remarkable to watch. And like even as a Red Sox fan, I can't get myself to hate Juan Soto until he signs the extension. Once he signs an extension, I will be upset with it. But until then, Juan Soto fan till the day I die.
Yeah.
Or until he signs the extension.
Yeah. Yeah, not much talk about that other than just same production, probably a little bit better bump for Juan Soto. Now a little two big moves that were happening, right? The Dodgers and then the Juan Soto trade. Other now it's a couple of small little things to get into here. Robbie Ray traded to the Giants, kind of a shocker move. Didn't see this one coming. He doesn't. To me, Robbie Ray doesn't fit the mold of a Giants pitcher. Really, really weird move for them. Now, he does go to a super hitter friendly park, which is great for any Robbie Ray owners. But I just don't know how many wins you can come by versus the Mariners. I don't know if, where do you see this as an increase or like a step back for Robbie Ray in 2024 with the Giants?
I didn't know this happened until I saw it on the rundown that you sent me earlier. I think I knew it happened, but I didn't fully it didn't register with me a couple weeks ago when it actually happened. But like you said, the hitter-friendly park definitely helpful. Was also surprised that the Giants traded for Robbie Ray. There wasn't it wasn't like a big trade. It just seemed like a bunch of just like names that like we know just got traded. Like Mitch Haniger was in it. It was just very much like this is a trade. In one of my leagues, we call it like a shirt for a shirt. Like you traded a white shirt for a gray shirt. That was pretty much what this trade was. And I think that Ray will be fine if he stays healthy. But like, again, this is somebody that I feel like doesn't really get you he's not going to be that SP2 guy that you're hoping for with the name. So it's more like a SP3, maybe SP4 for your team, which is fine because as I've often preached on the show, you need those guys, but the name of Robbie Ray is more expensive than his actual value is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and then this was obviously was a trade. I mean, he was hurt all last year, so they saw a lot of those young guys come up, right? Like and pretty much solidify that rotation. Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, even Brian Wu all came up. Yeah. And also they have a bunch of other young guys in that pen. So basically they were just trading away a guy that they definitely didn't really need anymore to try to bolster some of that offense that they may have lacked last year in Mitch Haniger. So to me, I think this is a good deal more for the Mariners than it is for the Giants. When the trade happened, I said, that seems like a really good deal for the Mariners just because they have a bunch of young pitchers that they could slot right in. So, yeah, I think if anything, we saw not last year because he was hurt all year, but he's coming off of prior to that back-to-back years of 200-plus Ks for Robbie Ray. I'm sure he'll continue that again in a very, semi-weak NL West. I mean, obviously the Diamondbacks are a little bit better now, but for the most part, that NL West, obviously not the Dodgers, but Padres are now weaker. Rockies stink. Diamondbacks, they took a big step last year, but I think they might a little bit suffered a little bit of regression this year. For sure. It's also better than facing the AL West, where you have a little bit more dominant lineups. So I think it's a little bit of an uptick for. Yeah, this is true. Yeah. That was one of the bigger trades that happened other than the Juan Soto. And I think one of the real quick things where we kind of talked about at the top of the show again, just the amount of big names that are still just out there. We're about 30 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting. Some of the names that are, like I already mentioned, the reigning NL Cy Young winner, Blake Snell. Now, I heard there's some rumors of him going to the Yankees because they're probably the only that are willing to spend any money at this point. But the teams, they're the guys that don't have, talking about Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger. I'm trying to think of some other big names that have just not signed anywhere, and it's kind of crazy that we just haven't seen some of these names be signed.
It's so bad, man. Like every offseason is supposed to be like, I guess hockey's not, but football and basketball, it's just nonstop. And this is the problem with the growing of baseball. People like just don't care about the offseason. You need to make this like an event. Like the most important, the second most important day for me as a Celtics fan is, I guess it's like the playoffs. But then after that, it's July 4th, because that's like you couldn't guess when free agency opens for the MLB. Like it's like a day, but like, in the NBA, it's like July 4th is that when that tampering period opens up.
Yep.
Same with the NFL. Don't know the date, but we know there is a date. So they need to, I don't know what kind of incentive you can get to make these guys sign, because like it's their choice. So you can't really make someone choose where they want to work, but like, you gotta just like these are all stars.
Right.
Your reigning Cy Young Award winner has not chosen a team he's going to play for, and he needs to report to that team in 30 days.
Yeah. Real quickly, let me run down some of these names. I pulled up a list here, right? These are all guys that have not signed with any team yet. Obviously, some are olding vets that may take a little bit longer to get, but here we go. Jordan Montgomery, who just had a dominant year for Texas Rangers and helping them win a World Series. Mm-hmm. Cody Bellinger, rebound season for the Cubs. Blake Snell, we just talked about, reigning MVP, Cy Young. Matt Chapman, their defensive-minded third baseman, on-base guy. Again, Clayton Kershaw, probably not going to sign. Yeah, Brandon Belt's a great bench fill-in for injured players. JD Martinez, someone that you're all familiar with.
Yeah.
Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall, Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader. Josh Hader, the closer.
The top closer on the market, has not been signed.
Exactly.
Jordan Hicks got a contract before him. And I understand it's different money, but still, in general, these guys it bothers me so much that this offseason, and what's awful is this has been good compared to last month. Like Trevor Story, who was like a top free agent 3 years ago, didn't sign until like the end of like February. Like he like just showed up to spring training. Like it's just so they need to figure out a way to fix it. I don't know how to. I don't know if he actually can, but like
I don't either.
It didn't always used to be like this.
I know. The only thing I can, obviously I don't get paid enough as much money as these guys to make these decisions. I can't make these decisions, but some of the things off the top of my head is like put a window in there. Put between, let's say, like November 1st and January 1st is when you have to sign. If you don't sign by then, you have to wait or some other wait. I don't know. Put some sort of window in there where there's like a only time period that you can sign, or incentivize it by the earlier you sign, the more money you can make. Right? If you sign early in that window, you can make more money. I don't know what the solution is, but there's got to be some sort of solution. There shouldn't be this many available, and a lot of it was also going to come down to the agents, right? We all know Scott Boras owns the majority of these clients that are probably still out there holding out. It's like a duel between the owner, the front offices, and Scott Boras on who's going to call who's bluff first. And this happened last year too, where the guys were just signing like the first, second week of February. It's crazy.
They need to. I can't just fix it and make the Red Sox sign someone.
So the biggest loser, the worst transaction of the MLB offseason is the lack of transactions.
Yes.
Offseason. But it wouldn't be on deck circle without a little bit of homerism, right? So let's talk about a couple of, I wouldn't say big moves, but maybe the only moves we're talking about from our teams.
No, your team has done things, Jason. A couple.
This is true. A couple things.
My Red Sox, however, boy,
but this was. I feel like this is an underrated move.
No, this is cool. I'm excited. They did trade Chris Sale. I don't know if you've seen Chris Sale's media tour as of recently. Like this past week, he's been on a couple shows. I'm going to ask him to come on ours. I don't know if he will, but he essentially apologized to Red Sox fans, being like, "I'm sorry, I was always hurt. Like this sucks. I was not worth all of the money."
At least he owned it.
Which is nice, but he still has the money, which is fine too. I don't care. He was never a Chris Sale problem. But they trade him to the Braves. Sure, he's going to be healthy the whole time he's with the Braves. But they traded for someone that I've actually heard of, which is always good, and Grissom. And he's one thing I don't love. Second base for the Red Sox has been pretty bad the last, since Pedroia left. It's kind of just been like let's find out who our next second baseman is. And Vaughn Grissom, not a great second baseman. He does, however, hit the shit out of the ball. So that is exciting for me as a Red Sox fan. I'm trying to get him in every single dynasty league that I'm in. I got him in our 30 Rock League.
I saw you make that move.
I think I traded Stephen Kwan or something, which is fine.
It actually was a pretty good deal for both teams.
Yeah, it seems to fit. I have so many outfielders that have the same exact profile. In my other home league, I can't get him because he's a Red Sox player, and I just have like a Red Sox tax because everyone knows that I offered Alec Thomas. I got rejected. I was like, okay, I'm not dealing with this. But I'm excited for him. If he can get me like 15 homers this season, I'll be happy. Eventually, maybe get to that 20, 25-ish range. Yep. But his swing is great for Fenway Park. His first career home run was at Fenway Park, which is cool.
Little nugget.
He's just Trevor Story is doing like a middle infield camp, I guess, with a bunch of the prospects. And he reported down there. So that's great. Tristan Cassis showed up. Not sure why. He's a first baseman, but whatever. I'll take it. The vibes are high, I guess. But I'm excited. It's good to be excited about something. I hope he sticks at second and can maybe make some plays.
Yeah, at one point, at the end of 2022, during their push for the World Series, he came up for the Braves and had one hell of I guess it was the month of September, basically, and postseason.
Yep.
But 5 home runs in 41 games, 121 WRC plus in only 41 games. He looked like he was going to be the starting second baseman for the Braves for a long time to come. For whatever reason, they started him off at, didn't really get the output they wanted from him. So he was back in the minors for most of 2023. I think almost all of it, maybe a little bit at the end. He got a little bit of a run with the team again in 2023, but definitely one of those guys that I think Atlanta was kind of just like, I'm not sure why they gave up on him, but they did. Sent them off to your Red Sox. So yeah, I thought it was a good move for both for you and for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because we know Trevor Story is not going to be around for long. So
yep,
we
do know that.
And
we got Marcelo Mayer just coming on in.
Exactly.
Hopefully, there's some sort of pipeline soon. I do know this is just me addressing Red Sox Nation. I don't have.
Let them know. Oh yeah, fuck! You got out the mask.
But I think that we only have like a year, maybe 2, left of being bad.
Okay, you hear it here first. Red Sox championship 2026.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, from the Red Sox homerism to the Cubs homerism, we got to talk about the Cubs. Not their biggest move, but the one that I'm most interested in. We all know about Shota. Well, we don't know all about Shota, but Shota was signed. I wasn't as impressed as everybody else is. It's a soft tosser. Profiles is like a 3 or 4 in that rotation. Not huge news. However, it was a pitcher they needed, so I'll take it. But I'm most intrigued about the Michael Busch trade from the Dodgers. Obviously, Dodgers needed to clear space on that 40-man for all the deferred money contracts that they just picked up. So why not trade off one of those 40-man rosters and Michael Busch to us? I shouldn't say us, to the Cubs.
Us.
However, okay, we'll say us.
I'm a big us guy, Jason.
Oh, man, okay. But I was a little upset by the return that they gave up. They did give up basically their second pitching prospect in Jackson Ferris, who I also just wrote about in my top 10 fantasy pitching prospects. I think Jackson Ferris is huge upside, but again, pitching prospect. To me, my biggest question mark with Michael Busch going to the Cubs is where is he going to play and what does this mean for that infield, right? Mm-hmm. We already have a second baseman. We already have a shortstop. We have question marks at first and third. Now, if we bring Belly back, we have a couple question marks. We got Morel that could possibly, started showing some signs of improvement and growth here in 2023 as a third baseman. However, he wasn't an everyday player. First base. Now, if you slide Michael Busch over to first base, which he did play some first base for the Dodgers farm system last year, so he can play first. Now, if you want him to play first, where does that mean you do with Belly? I don't know. You put Belly in center and wait for PCA to develop. A lot of question marks on where Michael Busch is going to play. He could DH. The biggest thing about Michael Busch, though, is great bat. He's on the 40-man. He's going to be on the team. Don't forget we have Nick Madrigal too, which I'm not a huge fan of. Short, slap hitting second baseman who can also play third base. A lot of question marks here in this infield. I prefer that they sign Belly. If it's me, I'm playing Michael Busch at third, Belly at first, center, and then just sprinkling in Wisdom and Madrigal and is like your bench bats. That's just me. I like the intrigue. Michael Busch has always been a top prospect. Had a huge year in 2023. Hit over a 1.0 OPS. So the bat's legit. Just got to find a spot to play.
Yeah, and the bat plays, and that's kind of especially. I feel like the Cubs are this way. If they hit, they'll get in the lineup. And who's their coach now?
Ooh, we just signed. That should have been. I buried the lead. Yeah, that was our biggest offseason acquisition. Was Craig Counsell coming over from the Brewers? Yeah, gave the guy like $8 million. Gave him like $40 million a year.
Yeah, they gave him so much money.
I know,
but he's a smart, forward-thinking guy, and I think he'll definitely find a way to utilize Busch in the best way possible. And what's so great is having that DH, so you can really just kind of like rotate so many different guys in different ways. Yep. And that's another great way of keeping these guys healthy is like it's easier to just hit. Like it just is. That's why David Ortiz lasted so long. Yep. It's because he didn't have to play the field because he was a liability, and two, he was out of shape.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about Busch.
Yeah, same. This unlocks him, right? Like he was basically just blocked. He would have been blocked forever in the LA system. So it was a huge win for I think both teams. Cubs got another bat that they need. Gave up a pitcher, which I'm not too keen on. They need pitching. They need power pitchers. Jackson Ferris was that. Yeah. They gave it up. But what can you do? You got to give up something to get something in return. So that's the way the trade system works. So I'm not gonna hate on him too much. We still have Cade Horton and others. So yeah, I like the trade.
Yeah, Ferris is gonna be nasty for the Dodgers, and that's gonna suck.
I know. I as soon as they saw the trade come through,
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a lot to give up. But we did get a lot in return, so it's fine.
Exactly. You also need to look at that side where like Dodgers have Mookie Betts at second base. So like which also shouldn't be allowed in fantasy. Mookie Betts is not a second baseman or a shortstop. It's cheating.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's the show. Good off-season recap there.
See you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We got some things lined up here. It's the off-season. There's a lot of big things to talk about right now. So here's to maybe we'll be able to talk about some more news next week with hopefully some signings or trades as teams get ready to clear up or shore up their lineups here coming up to spring training. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more movement here in a couple of weeks. We can start talking about some more transactions.
Looking forward to it, Jace.
See ya.